Hey guys, my name is Sheldon Chatter for 7. I train traders how to trade in harmony with the market. Our focus is firmly on the Canadian dollar Japanese yen this afternoon. Euro dollar has been very, very useful in the last couple of days. We've seen the price behaving as we have expected. I gave yesterday, I gave some key levels on the euro. Where is the chart? I think is the other chart. Let me see if I've got it here. That's the one. Okay, let's go to the 5 minute chart. I just want to do this quickly because my focus is on this is a reversal. Okay, the trend is still going down. So we have 5 here, and that's a reversal. There's possibility of a break of this tiny momentum high before we look for another selling opportunity, something like this. Okay, make the first high failed above the second high, then the new wave structure began. So that's the expectation on the euro US dollar. But like I said, my focus is firmly on the Canadian dollar Japanese yen for the rest of the afternoon or evening. Okay, so what do we have here? Let's hide some of these two on the level break. So we have a clean chart. That is the structural pullback that we saw uh, yesterday, and that is the structure. Very clear. The C leg became a very strong one, and eventually we add a break to the upside. This is a funny wave count. Actually, I was looking at this morning. That is your wave structure 1, ABC 1. Okay, this is the structure 2 because it came below these two minor internal wave. But you can see this one here, there's no structure here, even though it might look like a lower low, but there's no valid structure or what we call structure here. So these three became the extended wave for this impulse wave. Okay, and that three, we only add the structure with this one. So this will be 3, this will be 4, and this is 5. Let me just verify that on my MetaTrader, the wave structure, no structure, structure, and that's it. See, and this is how we have to validate all this level. The bypass is the one we use for structural wave count, wave structure count. Very powerful setup with this too. So what we're expecting now is not to buy because we are now trading at 5. We're looking for a reversal setup. Okay, a reversal trade. So that helps us to be objective. We are not buying, we're looking to sell a reversal, at least a break below here. But what normally happens on the when we have a completed wave structure is the last two structure, we call this fractal, two fractal back, and this is the first fractal back, which is a structure. Okay, and this is the second fractal back, which is a structure. Then your trade becomes very straightforward with this. Okay, knowing this information, we say unless they make a break here and another break, even with that, you're still going to have to wait for a, because if we have a break here, that will be 1 followed by another break, that will be 3. Then we have a temporary, or we call it secondary downtrend. But ideally, based on the way the price behaves, this 4 has to be broken first, followed by a failure. Then if we have a single wave break like what is going on in the euro, they will come and snap below the 2, then reverse quickly. That's what has been happening. Let's just check the euro. Let me show you what I'm talking about on the euro. This is what I'm talking about on the euro. Okay, yesterday, it happened yesterday as well after the news. That was the 2 snap above 4 and 2 2 4. They snap above it at the completion of the wave structure, but they won't give you a follow through. They even took the 0 Okay, then we have 0 ABC, 1 2 3 4 5. Now they are back above 2 again. Okay, if they snap above it and they stay above it, then you have a possibility for a continuation to the upside. But once they fail, then that's the beginning of a new wave structure to the downside. So with the Cardian, our expectation is to look for a selling opportunity. So I'm going to do this as the high, that's the last posted high. What's that price? Is 14,166. Just make sure I've got the price correct. Let's see. Okay. And we've seen a break. Look at that break. This is a these are what we look at for giveaway. I'm going to move this to the side. There's no wick at the top of that candle. That is weak. That is fear. That's the first break. This one can follow through because the end of the wave structure, we're looking for a completed wave actually. So this will be first break, second break, third break. Ideally, you want to sell below here. That's the minimum. Or we can start to look for a short. Okay, because this one, these are the trades that you have to be able to manage manually. Okay, but below here, the reason we can do this is because we have counted the waves, and this will be my entry. Once we see a close below here, I'll sell it and put my stop loss there, and that will be the final trade for the week for us. Time is 2:45 London time. We can take this and trail the stop down because this is a reversal trade. A reversal does not mean the trend has changed, and also you can see the stronger the wave structure, the stronger the reversal is going to be. So, and if I'm pushed, let's see if we have an entry first. But if we are pushed to give um, an entry or a target for this, we can use the Russell wave to measure this distance. Okay, I'll say Russell, and if this reversal comes in, that will be my target there on 1336. So let's pause and see if we're going to have a feel with this one. Okay, focus. I'm watching this. So we have a structural bar with this bar here. Okay, this is where we can actually play in terms of what I mean by play is not that we're doing charts play. You can put everything you know about price and the way it behaves into play here. Okay, and we've seen the structural bar. We need to see a break below the structural bar and a close below the next bar that comes below here if we do have, and you can see the same thing here. So maybe we will have one more push above this tiny level here. That one has already this here. Okay, what I'm doing on the 5-minute chart, you can do it on the daily chart, 1 hour chart. You know, a chart is a chart. It's a chart. Okay, it doesn't matter. It's basically depend on your style of trading. Okay, so we have a plan of action. We've already seen a new structural. So this technically is 2. This technically is 4 in this sequence that is going on, and you need to see a higher high, then that will actually be a stronger sell. Okay, once we start to come below the 4, this one here. So what happens in the bars happens in the wave, happen in the bigger waves and the bigger waves. You understand what I'm saying? The market is fractal in nature, and that is why when you learn how to count the waves, it becomes repeatable, okay, based on your understanding of the market. And the more exposed you are to taking trades like this that is not being suggested by an indicator or a moving average crossover telling you to buy, or MACD cross down telling you to sell, don't get me wrong, we do use tools but not dependent on them. Okay, price is the leading indicator. Okay, so this is looking good. Okay, the internal waves of this move, I'm going to change it so that we can see. I'll use the fractal waves. Let's move the big wave to the side. This is what is going on here. Okay, basically we've seen extension between the 2 to 3 with this wave. Okay, this single swing, we are breaking it down, that one there, and I'm going to demonstrate to you how this is all you need to learn. Okay, let's focus. So we have a structure, that's the giveaway. So we have higher high, higher high, that validates the 4 to 5. We can start to sell now. Okay, so that's the sell candle. Obviously what we are doing here, it's, you have to understand that price, and to frame our words properly, price has, it carries information. This information, when it gets to a point when you can understand the waves, they become very clear in terms of what you should be expecting. Every waves that we've counted, they have characteristics. Wave 2 have its characteristic, wave 3, wave 4 and 5. So for me, in an impulse wave like this is a swing, but also in this swing it is an impulse wave because it's trading in the direction of the trend. What I'm doing now is, the reason I'm able to do this is because there's a characteristics of this wave that we are able to understand. With the 2 to 3 has already given us the 5 waves extension. Okay, therefore I'm not expecting this 4 to 5 to be extended. That is a strong clue. Okay, so with this one, the minimum expectation with this trade is for price to break below here, okay, or below here, which is the 2. Let me clone this one. If we manage to break the 2, first time, second time it will break the 4, which is the major wave. Then if we break the 4, that is the beginning of a major reversal. Okay, so I need to save some time on this video. Once we, in terms of stop loss, I'm going to manually monitor this trade. I'm not expecting a crazy move above where we are. So that's our entry bar. That satisfies the 4 to 5. So you now start to think about things in the correct way. How am I going to use my stop loss? There are 3 options you have. Okay, 3 options of stops you have. Okay, we have the time stop. How many bars am I going to give this? Okay, money stop. how much am I going to risk, or technical stop. With this type of trade, we cannot use the technical stop. I do not use money stop. Okay, the only thing I'm going to be looking at is the time stop. I'm saying to myself, if this is a genuine reversal, I'm going to time myself 4 bars from the entry. But also I have to think about it in terms of money. Okay, if this thing is going higher, that means my 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 theory here of expecting 2 bars for the completion of the wave is wrong. Therefore, I can make decision to close the trade. Okay, if this thing is behaving the way I'm expecting it to behave, like what is happening now, okay, I'll stay in the trade. So where will I start to lock in my profit? Already I have a structure 4 here. Once we break the structure 4, I'm not expecting price to come back above the 5 of this wave. So I can start to put my stop loss. Even now we are making structure, but I'll wait for the 4 to break before I bring my stop loss to the high of 5. And that's how you trade a reversal. We can trade the reversal when we know the the subtleties of the wave and the characteristics of the wave. Very, very profitable if you can trade like this. Also, the risk is minimal. The risk is very small. You have to be very I'm using a I'm using a lot of very. You have to be disciplined in your approach to trading. When you are wrong, know when you are wrong and close the trade. If it's going your way, let the trade go your way. That's the 4. We're coming close to 8. Okay, so this is where we can lock in a profit. Okay, as in we basically, what I've done now is, with this type of reversal, this is now a risk-free trade. Okay, what do I mean by that? I can't take a loss on this trade again anymore. Okay, risk free trade. Okay, that could be a good title. So, and this is how you trade a reversal trade in terms of and you just repeat it. This is a structure. Anything can happen. If the buyers see this as a fair price and they said to themselves, we're going to buy, then at least you know you can't lose money. Price will go back up. But if all the analysis we've done, counting the waves, validating the levels, if it's correct, you should see the price come below the 4 and maybe even get to the GM4A, which is the Russell target. So I'm going to use the Russell. Oops. I'm going for take profit now. I will use the Russell as the take profit, which is like, this is crazy, isn't it? Some people will say, how is that possible? The risk to reward of this trade, let's do it. Short position. Where do we enter? There. Okay, let's do the reward there. If it gets there, we don't know if it's gonna get there or not, but one thing we know is we can't lose money on this trade. So let's put it at the initial one, okay, which is the high of the entry, and that's it. So risk reward is 38. Okay, so that's how we monitor price and we trade reversal using the wave structure count. And this is a way to trade in harmony with the market. And that's my last trade of the week. If you like what you see, give us a thumbs up. My name is Shagun Chatu 47. I hope to see you guys next week. Happy Christmas and God bless.